Hey guys, welcome to First Chapter Fridays. I'm Trevor, and this is the Portsmouth Public Library's program where we check out the first chapter of an awesome book. Today's book is Tarot by Marissa Kennerson. Now, this is an interesting book. You get real like Rapunzel vibes from it in the beginning. This girl is locked in a tower and is made to work on these really beautiful, elaborate tapestries. And the tapestries are depicting what she kind of believes the outside world and the king's court and all these things are like, because she's not really seen them. Well, let's find out what happens. Anna worked at the cold stone floor of the tower, using a tool she'd made from the handle of a lantern years before. The entire floor was scored with small white lines the size of matchsticks. Each set of 4 lines crossed through with a bold diagonal. She struck another line, knowing the next day would be her 16th birthday. She clenched her teeth against the familiar feeling of gloom settling inside her. Anna heard the sound of keys grinding their way into the tower's immense stone door. She jumped up, expecting to greet her advisors, but the king's guards entered, followed by the Hierophant King himself. "Anna?" the king greeted her. "Father?" Anna suppressed the urge to lunge at him and scratch his eyes out. He stood for a moment and looked around. The tower was a circular stone structure with narrow stairways, and Anna lived in the room at the top. There was one window overlooking the castle gates and the forest that lay beyond. On a windy day, she could fool herself into thinking she smelled salt coming off the ocean, though she'd never glimpsed or even really heard of it. But she'd been told of the ocean's existence by her advisors, and now she imagined that it was behind her in directions she had never seen. Despite a modest stone fireplace, the room was terribly drafty. The king pulled his robes closer. A small bed sat along the wall, but the room was mostly taken up by a large wooden work table covered in sketches and a weaving loom the size of a small horse. The king was not looking at the room itself, but the elaborate tapestries that curved around it, covering every inch of the wall space. His heart caught in his chest the sheer beauty of the tapestries. "Heavens, Anna," the king said, "these are truly extraordinary. And to think you're self-taught. The work of the so-called masters would surely pale in comparison. The pure imagination of it. My walls will be the envy of all." He paused. "You've accomplished so much since the last I was here. Why, they look as if they're nearly finished." "A year's a long time," Anna said quietly. The king rubbed at the silver hairs of his closely cropped beard, ran a hand over his shaven head. "Has it been a year?" "It has, and we made an agreement. When I completed the tapestries, you would let me go." "So I did. Are you finished?" "I just need to put some final touches on the last one, bind the threads. But other than that, yes."
"Please take me through them, one by one."
He shook his head, his eyes scanning the walls.
"How one girl could create all this."
"I have a lot of time," Anna thought. She wanted to say, "because you kept me locked up in here like some kind of monster." And that's the end of the excerpt from chapter 1. This is one that is really interesting because right after this, it takes off. And there's a good amount of action and adventure and some fun surprises along the way. Well, guys, thanks for joining me for this episode. And if you're interested in this book or any like it, please come into the library or give us a call at 740-354-5688, and we would love to help set you up with one of your next great reads. Also, just to let you know, we have summer reading coming up soon, so if you're interested in joining us for that, give us a call or come in, and we'll be happy to get you set up. Thanks. Have a good one.